So we'll go back to the Bills edition of Sports Bruisers. Today we're going to be doing our Week 14 preview of the Cincinnati Bengals. But going into this game, the Bills are 8-4, as well as Cincinnati being 4-8. It's a 1 o'clock game. Bills projected, sent ESPN to be a 63.1% chance to win the game, which should be a lot closer than that. If I said in the last few games, especially for the Texans game and so forth, and even except for the Steelers, I think it should be a lot closer. I do not see 63.1. You have Joe Burrow back in the lineup, and the Bills have struggled against Joe Burrow since he's been in the NFL. You go back to the last few matchups. You want to go back to the infamous playoff game they lost to, and the year after that they lost in Cincinnati. So they don't have the best luck with Joe Burrow under center. Bills right now are a 5.5 point favorite, which again I think should be a lot closer than that, but it is what it is at this point here. Kind of slowly winding down the last home games of the Highmark Stadium. Have this as well as Philadelphia and the Jets to round it up. So gotta win those games. Just give us the player or give the fans some great memories to kind of kick off the rest of the season, or wrap up the rest of the season for this one. And it's gonna be tough. It is. It's gonna be a very tough matchup here. Like I said, they've struggled against Burrow in the years past, and this will be no different. I don't care that Cincinnati is 4-8. I don't care that Joe Burrow just came off an injury and he has he's injury prone in his career. I don't care the offensive line is bad. It's still going to be a bad matchup because Buffalo again has had similar opportunities to beat the Bengals and have fallen short, especially the offensive line going back to that playoff game where they had multiple backups in their starting lineup for the offensive line, and the Bills could get no pressure. And Joe Burrow, thus far in his career against Buffalo, has done whatever he wants. It's going to be a struggle. It might be a high-scoring game at this point for this one here. And especially for the offense, when I put keys to the game here, one of the biggest ones is the turnovers. You have to limit the turnovers, and I would say going to 0. Josh Allen needs to take care of the football. The last 4 games, he has an interception in the last 4. He has 6 total interceptions in the last 4 games. That has to stop. You have to go all the way back to November 2nd, where they beat KC, where he had 0 turnovers, 0 interceptions, I should say. And since then, 1 interception, 2 interceptions, 2 interceptions, it has to stop. It has to stop at this point if the Bills want to have any chance to, not just saying for the Bengals, but just projecting for us this season. But looking at the Bengals game, you cannot give Joe Burrow more opportunities. You can't give him an extra possession. Josh, you have to take care of the football. And I don't want to hear the excuses from people saying, well, he has to do too much because the offense isn't great, the receivers aren't great. It's no excuse to make bad decisions. Most of his interceptions are bad decision-making on his part and throwing right at the defender or double coverage, or maybe it's not because he feels pressed or he has to do something. Maybe in his own mind he feels like that, but it doesn't justify the interceptions he's thrown. He needs to cut that down. He's at 10 interceptions. He was at 6 all last year. He's already at 10. He needs to stop that. And that's the biggest thing I want to emphasize is if the Bills want to have any chance in this one with a defense that's probably going to struggle against Chase and Burrow, and maybe even with the running game, what they have there, even though it's not the best, but with Chase Brown, it's gonna be a handful for the defense. You cannot give the offense extra possessions for the Bengals. You cannot do that, Josh. You have to take care of the football. I don't want to make it sound like if Josh Allen throws an interception, the game's over, but it almost feels like you got to take care. You got to be safe with it. Don't give Joe Burrow extra ammunition to beat this team. That is the one I want to keep emphasizing over and over again. We have to, I don't want to say limit, we have to cut the turnovers out entirely. And it's mostly on Josh Allen for that part, too. I know last week he had James Cook with the fumble, too, on top of that. And I don't expect him to fumble. Hopefully not. But most of the problems, most of the turnovers are on Josh Allen. He needs to cut that down immensely to 0. End of discussion with that. Another thing, too, is getting the running game going. The Bengals have a bad offense, and it's you could say just basically how I say every week. Just got to run the ball, got to throw the ball well, but really get James Cook involved. You look at the 4 losses that they had on the season, back to the schedule here. Real quick, let me just get to the schedule. In 3 of the 4 losses, James Cook ran for under 100 yards. The outlier being against Houston, where he had 116. But you look at the losses here against New England, 53, 87. The loss to Miami, 53. James Cook was not effective. So, in most part, basically, if James Cook gets over 100 yards, you're probably in a good position to win. And you have to really take full advantage of this defensive line that is probably going to be without Trey Hendrickson. It seems iffy. I don't know if I haven't seen any more updates about him playing or not, but it seems like right now I think it was doubtful last time I heard. But you are be facing a defensive line that's probably gonna be without their best player, not just the defensive line, but the defense entirely, in Trey Hendrickson. Take full advantage of that, especially in the running game. Take full advantage of James Cook here. He can give you, I think, easily well over 100 yards, 130, 140. I think he can put up a game like that at this moment. Get James Cook running the football and get him downfield. And it's basically you have to do what, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, if it looks pretty or not, or it's not exciting in terms of just throwing the ball around the field. It's going to be what they did against Pittsburgh. Run the football, and Josh, take care of the football. I know he's not going to put up the best stats, but I don't care. Take care of the football. That's what I can't keep emphasizing that enough. You have to limit the turnovers and just rely on James Cook and then try and build off of it, play actions and stuff like that. And that's why I also put down to we have to be creative with the receivers. The corners are not that special. So is the Bills receivers aren't that special, but be creative. I think this is an opportunity where I don't know if Kincaid's going to be in this game or not. As of right now, there's no official word if he's going to. So to be safe, I'm going to assume that he's not in the game for the second. And give an example. Get Shakir going. I think this could be a great game for Khalil Shakir in this one here. And not saying just put him on screen passes. Get him in, use him how you were last year. Put him in the slot, quick passes, flats and stuff like that. Give him the opportunity with the ball in his hands. He's great with yards after the catch. That's what we always want to rave about with this offense is Yak. Khalil Shakir has the opportunity to do so. Give him the ball in space. Not just screen passes, but actually get him downfield and make plays for him. I know last few weeks he's been a little bit iffy. Well, I should say the last few weeks. I mean, obviously he had a great game, but most of that came right at the end of the game. I mean, for the most part, he wasn't too effective. Most of those yards came right at the end, but still, he had over 100 yards, but still be more creative with Shakir. Give him the ball, give him the opportunity, and elsewhere too. I don't know if Palmer is going to be in the lineup as well. You have Keon Coleman, but Keon Coleman at this point he is what he is of how they're going to use him. If you have Kincaid in there, obviously, absolutely target Kincaid. He's giving you great performances. I mean, look at here. You have 66, 108, 101. He's giving you great performances if he is healthy and going to this game. So if he is healthy, obviously you target both those guys. Kincaid, Shakir be those top two priorities. If Kincaid's going to miss this game yet again, I think really heavily go on Shakir as well as other people too. If you want to say maybe a little bit more creative with Keon Coleman, maybe it's an opportunity for Brandon Cooks to kind of open up and have a better game than just one catch at the beginning of the game and do absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. Remainder of the game, I should say. He had the one catch right at the beginning, and that was pretty much it. So maybe this opportunity for Cook to get a little bit more playing time, get a little bit more yardage, more catches. Maybe this could be a game for Tyrell Shavers again. Who knows at this point? Again, it's the everyone needs mentality that we're at this point. But I think at least for the passing game, really target Khalil Shakir, give him the opportunities. And if Kincaid is available, of course, that as well. Even if he isn't available, I think to a point too, you should target Knox as well. Give him the ball a few times. I think he certainly is productive as well. Not immensely productive, but certainly is viable in the passing offense too. On top of that, so right at the offense, just again cut turnovers and basically rely heavily on the running game, which will open up the passing game even more with that. Basically, trying to follow the suit of what they've been trying to do for the season thus far. For the defense, stop the run. Stop the run. You cannot let the Bengals run on you at this point. You are already in a tough spot. You're already going to be going against a very tough passing offense with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You cannot afford to have them get the running game going with Chase Brown. You cannot. It's already going to be a handful on just the Bengals being one-dimensional. It's going to be tough if they can be two-dimensional at this point here on top of that. And Chase Brown has been solid. I don't think he's been anything great. I mean, certainly he has not lived up to, at least I don't think, what he was supposed to be doing. Well, he should be doing. I think he should have much better stats. Certainly much better, much more than 2 touchdowns on the year, running the ball at least. But again, this is a lethal passing offense with Joe Burrow back in lineup now. We know what these guys can do. You got to take care of the football. It has to be like the Steelers game. You got to shut down the run and try and focus on the passing. You're not even going to stop the passing. You just got to limit it. And that's going to what I'm saying now about Chase. You got to limit Chase. You're not going to stop him. He's probably going to get his yardage, but you got to limit him as best as possible. And I don't know if they would put, I'm assuming Benford on that, or if you want, dare I say, put the rookie Maxwell Harrison on him at times. I think you have to be knowing the Bills, maybe they put Trey White on him, and that's really going to be a problem. But you got to limit Chase. You're not going to shut him down, but you got to limit him. And it might be, detriment to whoever's going to face T. Higgins, because maybe T. Higgins might have a big game, but you got to focus on the better receiver here, on Jamar Chase. Just limit him. You got to slow down this offense. I don't think you're going to neutralize it. You're going to stop it. You just got to slow it down. You got to limit it enough for the offense to do something and to pull it out. And like I said, the biggest thing, you got to do what you did against the Steelers: stop the run, and you're gonna be in a much better position. If it's how it is for the rest of the season, how it's been so far, where teams have run wild or been productive when they had to run, it's gonna be a long night. Even with the 0 turnovers from Josh Allen, I think that might not even be enough to win it. So yes, it'd be worse if Josh Allen throws an interception, but part of that too about keeping the ball safe, the defense has to do its job too on top of that. And again, you're not going to stop it, but you have to limit Chase in this passing offense. And the other thing too is just get pressure. I mean, that's not anything special. That's how we say every single week. You got to get pressure. This offensive line isn't great. Joe Burrow isn't the most mobile quarterback, and it's outside of Bosa, of course, I have to see a great game by Russo. I know Russo hasn't done anything this season. He has not at all. But you got to get pressure there. These guys, defensive line for the most part is miss, sometimes hit with Bosa, but you got to get pressure on Burrow here. You got to take full advantage of that weak defense or weak offensive line that they have. They're very questionable at best. You got to take full advantage of that. You got to get pressure. You got to limit Jamar Chase. And it's really just pretty much about it. I don't want to go too much in depth with it. It's just pretty short and sweet. There's nothing really a lot to go into further detail with. Again, just offense, just run the ball, take care of the ball. If you want to say the Sean McDermott way of how they want to play offense. And for defense, gotta get pressure, and you gotta limit Chase as well as stop the run, of course. But more importantly, you gotta stop. You gotta try and slow down their best player on the field there, in the receiving, or at least the skill position wise on that part too. Well, again, whether it's going to be Benford, Harrison, White, whoever the defensive game plan is going to be, of who's going to go against Chase, or it might be obviously a combination of all those guys or two of those guys, but you got to limit them too. And also, for defensive players, I'm kind of curious about Cole Bishop, how he's going to play in this game. Definitely, he's going to have his hands full with this skill position group again with Chase and Higgins. So I'm be interested to see how he steps up and plays well. If he's going to make a great play in this game. He's been, certainly great. Certainly good this year, and it has been certainly turned the season around compared to how his image has been before of getting injured, not doing too much. It looked like another waste pick by Brandon Beam, but he's really stepped up and he's played well. So this can be a big task for him as well in that safety position, and see what he can do alongside with that. Maybe he's going to have to help one of the corners out with Chase or Higgins or however it may be at this point too. So again, it's going to be very tough. I know the Bills don't have the best luck with the Bengals, but you look at the remainder of the season for the Bills, it's going to be rough. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say it's easy wins for the Browns and Jets, because the Bills have fumbled, of course, the Miami game, as well as struggled with the Saints too, on top of that, other games as well. But when you look at it, if you want to pin those two games as easy wins, I don't feel confident with Philadelphia. I don't feel confident with the Patriots right now. This is, I don't want to go as far as it's a must win, but you got to steal one of these three games. One of the three tough games I see here with the Bengals, Patriots, and the Eagles, you got to steal one. I think the Bengals are certainly more enough, is a possibility of winning this game. You certainly have a good chance here. It's not 63% how the ESPN has it, but you do have a good chance to win here at home here and really set the tone going into that Patriots game. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this is going to win a division. I think it's out of the question at this point. The Steelers are going to be the AFC East champions, but it's a good building block going off, winning this game on top of it too, helping your playoff standings and so forth, but going into the Patriots game, which they already have the bye week. They're going to be fresh. They're going to have more time off from the Bills, but I think this is a great momentum builder going into New England. But still too, I think you have to try and find a way to steal one of these three games and for the remainder of the season for these tough teams. And Cincinnati is certainly possible. It's going to be tough, especially with Joe Burrow and the history we've been against him, but it's certainly a possibility here. The Bills are going to, it's a test, I think, regardless. It's a test to show you, are the Bills for real? however you want to say for real they are, but just really it's giving you a tough task going to New England where if they win, you feel, and all of us feel, a lot more confident against going against New England. So it's a test here to see how good they really are, especially a test for this offense with Josh Allen and James Cook there on top of that too. So we'll see how it plays out there. We'll give you my thoughts on the next Bills video, or Bills edition of Sports Bruisers, the review of Week 13. Hopefully, we come back and it's a nice win for the Bills, and they're 9-4 going into the Patriots game. So we'll see how it plays out there. But I said we'll see you in the review for that one.